Hi, and welcome to another episode of Money Talk. I'm Linda Kay, your host of Money Talk, where we don't just talk about money or how to achieve financial success, but also about how to explore and carve out time to cultivate your passions, even if you don't turn them into a profit. But when you do, is it really work? See, balancing the demands of being a busy business owner usually leaves very little time for pursuing your hobbies, right? Because our work becomes our hobby, or our hobby becomes our work. But I always say that if you're not making money at it, it is a hobby. But sometimes you can actually make money at that too. And that, I dare say, not only gives you great passion and fun and excitement, but also feeds your soul. Well, today we're going to explore how our guest integrated his hobby passion into additional income streams without sacrificing the love of that hobby. Sometimes we forget how much we love something and then we turn it into a job and then we realize, I don't love it anymore. Well, that's not true. But right now I have two things that I want you to do. I want you to hit the like and subscribe to this. And secondarily, stay tuned because we'll be right back.
Linda gave me the courage, the confidence to move forward.
And after I was finished with Linda K's training, I was at the next level.
It's Linda K. But when you trust that piece of you that says, I got something to give, I have something to say, you know you've got something to do.
Get on your feet, shake your hands in the air. Welcome to the stage, Linda K.
And we're back. Well, today our guest is a seasoned entrepreneur with over 30 years of experience as a business owner. So we know that's not a hobby. He runs Easy Business Technologies, where he helps small businesses streamline their marketing and their technology needs. But that's not all. He's also a trained musician from Des Moines, Iowa, performing his live music and singing everything from Johnny Cash to Jelly Roll. And I don't mean Jelly Roll Morton. I mean Jelly Roll, the rapper. So he's living proof that it's possible to nurture your passions as a rewarding side venture while successfully managing a primary business. So please join me in welcoming to the stage our incredible guest, Ted Gaunt. Hey, Ted.
Hey there. Thanks for having me. How are you today?
I am very well, thank you. And now I want to know, how does mixing the music and mixing the business interfere with having a life?
Most of the time I have a life, but for me, the music business is not a full-time job. So part of me isn't hitting it hard all the time like some of those musicians. So in that case, I can enjoy the music more than it being a full-time job. Of course, having the other side business, there's a lot going on there. So, but the passion of music's always been in my life. Grew up in a musical family, played in church worship teams for about 18 years. And I kind of said, you know what, I'd go on my own and do this. And so it's been.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe how much we intersect. I was the church pianist and organist and went pro when I was 14 and played all over the world. But eventually we realized, living out of a suitcase is not really, conducive to having a family life or having a real life, for instance. But because I never really hit the big time. And I think everybody that hits it big, unless you're, Mick Jagger, you're only there for a brief period, aren't we?
Yes, I realized, I think, a few years back, I'm probably not going to be, the next Luke Combs or any of those guys. But what kind of transitioning into what I've found is just as much satisfying as, doing music gigs now and then, but helping musicians as well. So I help small business owners, but I've also got a few musicians that I help with their marketing. It's like with text marketing and setting up a fan club and just some things that maybe they don't even think about. It's like, oh, I just play music and I hope people show up.
Yeah, so I just hope somebody will listen and pay.
Yeah.
Attention, right.
So if you work on marketing yourself, but then if you can build up a list, having a list is your own group of people that you can communicate with. Kind of like your tribe, so to speak. So if you've got that group of people that are your followers and your fans, you know, you can reach out to them. They're like, hey, I'm going to be playing here at wherever in the next couple hours. Make sure you show up. And then rather than just sending a Facebook post and hope people show up. So
Right.
I found
And
enjoyment in that.
I love how you just said that. And it's your list, it's your nurturing, it is your business. And many business owners don't understand that. They think, okay, if I just put up a social post, then people will get it. And they don't get it. Look, if there's so much competition for people's attention today, isn't there?
There is.
Facebook to X to Instagram to YouTube. And you know, we're living in this attention deficit society where, and I know we've been compared to this, and I hate the comparison, Ted, because I'd like to think that I was smarter than a goldfish, but the goldfish attention span is 7 seconds, and that's where we've gotten to.
And it might be shorter than that. If you TikTok you have to stop and scroll.
Swipe up, swipe. Oh, and if you don't grab somebody's attention, you're not going to hold their attention. So getting and holding their attention is key. So how did you morph into Easy Business Technologies?
Well, having several small businesses over the years, I'm still an IT guy during the day, working on migrating at some point into doing music and this full time. But having a love for technology has always been. I mean, my dad was a farmer, and I couldn't handle the grain bins and the allergies and stuff, and so I just always gravitated toward technology and computers and this, that, and the other. And so it's always been part of my life. And so I started out.
Way to go, Ted. Way to get out of to doing some of those after school tasks, right?
No, I still had to do those, but that's okay.
But it did get you out of the field and behind the screen. And that is an important thing because you figured out how to monetize this, right?
Yes. Yep.
So how did you figure out what people really needed?
Well, just kind of backing up a little bit, I first started out in videography. So I was a videographer for 23 years. But everybody would have me work on their computer and fix their computer and all that stuff.
Isn't that the truth?
Did the Amazon thing for a while and had another small business. But I suppose it was about a year and a half ago. I just thought of all the frustrating things of having small businesses, it was the marketing piece that always frustrated me. And like, I don't get it. I'm a techie guy. I understand that if there's something broke, it's zeros and ones, I can fix it. But the marketing piece was always fascinating to me, and I didn't understand it. And so I really wanted to dig in more. And I've been digging in the last year, just kind of absorbing as much marketing stuff and sales stuff as I can.
So what's your go-to source? How do you find out what you need to know?
Everybody's going to sell you something for sure. So the first thing to find out, I would say, find somebody you know, like, and trust, because everybody's out going to be selling you, hey, try this marketing thing. And so I've came up with just kind of some 4 basic things, that every business really needs. It's reputation. How do they know you? How do they find you? And, what are those things? And then, it gets into responding to your clients or potential customers quickly. Because so many times I heard something the other day, 60% of all small business phone calls go unanswered. And so, the small businesses, a lot of times they're one person. And so if they're busy detailing that car or working on the, whatever they're doing, they can't answer that phone call. And so there's some things that I have with Easy Business Tech that's like a missed call, text back. So somebody calls and you're a plumber, you're deep in under the sink and you can't do it. You can't get to the call, but then it can respond back and say, hey, thank you for calling. We missed your call, but we'll be right back with you. And then they've made that connection. They're not going to move on to the other, person in the Google listing there. But, reputation is being able to be found and then responding to those people that have found you quickly. And then we go on to, the reward, getting them, the sales process of getting them, to become a customer, and then they're a good customer and they refer. So the 4th R would be referrals. So anyway, so, I kind of put together the 4 R's for small businesses. So I'm kind of going to put together a course. I also have a small Facebook group called Small Business Rockstars, because running a small business is not easy. And so you're a rock star if you're going through that. If you're an entrepreneur and you've got that spirit in you, it's really you're a rock star, because it's not an easy task. Every day sometimes we wake up and like, I'm not doing this anymore. I quit.
But if we quit, then we've got to go back to that day shift that we actually hated. So, there is risk and reward in everything that we do. But our business, what you just said, which were the 4 R's, and we forget. We really want to just get to the sales process and move on as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
But you're leaving a lot of business on the table, because think about the lifetime value of an actual customer. Somebody gets to know you, you
Yes.
gave them something, and now they tried it and they liked it and they think, I got that for free. So if I got that for free, what would it be like to work with this person? Because if they gave me that, what will they give me if I pay for it?
Yep.
Right?
Give value, because you're not giving away, the farm, so to speak. You're showing them that you're, somebody that you can know, like, and trust. If I'm like, okay, I've now reached out, I know this person. Hey, I kind of like their content. Well, I've watched them 10, 20 other videos. I kind of trust this person now. And then, give them something free, give them value. And then can you get them in as a customer? And once they're a customer and they like you, it's a lot easier to then, hey, I've got this new product, or I've got this new information out here. Oh yeah. I love that guy. That you've got repeat buyers. So you're correct on the lifetime value of a customer.
Well, how do you get them to refer you after you've done some business with them?
Well, there's a couple different ways. After a time, you can reach out and say, hey, did you like what what we did together? And first of all, would you be willing to do a testimonial for me? Even if you're starting out, you could do something for somebody for free in exchange for a testimonial. If you're just starting out, you're like, I've got nothing here. And so, if it's, car detailing or whatever, it's like, hey, can I just wash your car and let me show you how well I do? And could you just give me a referral or that testimonial? And you can put that testimonial on there. He said, hey, Jim did a great job on my car. I would recommend him anytime. So you've got that social proof, and that's what people are looking for.
I think that that's an important piece of this, and it's easy to get while they're happy, because if you get them and get them immediately, they are now effervescent. I want to say about what that detail was, whether it was a marketing piece or a campaign, or even as you just said, the car polish, right? Because they can see immediate results out of it. Get that video right away while they're happy, because, geez, 7 days from now, will they even remember you?
Another thing you can do is it wouldn't really pertain to like the car dealing, but if you're maybe helping small businesses with websites or marketing or whatever, it's like, do some things for them. They're happy and maybe they've paid you, but then say create a follow-up call. Like maybe it's a monthly follow-up call, or even like, hey, after a month of doing this, we have a follow-up call. Get on a Zoom call, record it, and then ask them ahead of time, hey, can I use any of this for a testimonial? And so during that conversation, you can ask them, leading questions like, hey, what have you liked about working with me? But you could also ask them, how could I do better? And you can learn from that part, but you can use the good parts as testimonials.
Right.
So
edit out the other stuff that you need work on.
So, yeah, exactly. That's another way you can do that.
We forget about how the simplicity of these things. So now you spent a lot of years in editing and doing videos as a videographer, clearly. Yes. What are some of the tools today that make it so easy to really capture your own essence in video as an individual without having to hire the videographer? You hire the videographer to clean up the mess and do all the edits, right? But aren't there tools that we can use?
There's so many tools nowadays. I was just talking the other day with somebody about the cost of entrance. We used to do video 25 years ago. It's like you had to buy an $800 camera, and you didn't have the access to, there's so many online tools. I'm surprised my daughter, she makes these amazing videos right with her phone. I'm like, how did you do that?
Right.
And so, there's a couple different ones. I use one from Wondershare. It's called Filmora. It's just one that I use. I'm used to a long,
right?
What's that?
It's free.
No, well, there's a free version, but I think it's like $99 maybe. But
For
even
a year.
inside of Canva, that's a pretty
Right.
popular, you can do video in that. But the other kicker now is all the AI video stuff that came out. And so I kind of started down that AI path a little bit when I was starting up the Easy business. I was actually Easy AI. And, you shouldn't be afraid to pivot in your business. That's another thing. If what? No, let's pivot. Doesn't mean you're quitting. You're just pivoting. So, but yeah, there's a lot of AI stuff out there now. And I just didn't want to try to run the race and try to be the AI guy. But I know that I can utilize the tools of AI in this. So there's a lot of AI things out there. I cannot think of any at the top of my head that are AI video ones, but
okay, well, but using some of that AI technology, I would say that CapCut and Captions also.
Yes,
those are
CapCut
easy apps.
Yep.
Those are easy downloadable apps, and you can edit. And what I found about really fascinating about this is that most video is consumed without the sound. Why?
Correct.
Why? Because you're at work. You don't want everybody else to see what you're doing. Right?
Always do the captions if you can in there, because that's really important. So if you can get
and
those.
There's another reason to do that as well, because if our attention span is 5 to 7 seconds, then we
Yes.
need to be changing something on the screen so that those eyes are doing the shift, and they're doing that while they're reading. So that will keep your viewer engaged and doing and spending more time in your videos, as long as you're not boring. For God's sakes, don't be boring.
Exactly. Stop the scroll, even if that first 5 seconds of the video is. I had an idea the other day. It's like you should start the video in the dark, then flip on the light and hey, I've got a secret. You need to hear this. And people are like, what? What? But no matter what it is, people will at least stop for a second.
I love that. That's
a
great idea. I'm going to try that.
I want to see that.
That's
But you've got to do something, weird and crazy or whatever that gets people just to stop for just a second, and then you go into, what's that hook that you're going to, hey, are you and call out your target audience and call out that.
Are you still biting your nails?
Yes. But call out that avatar, we would say, that target audience. I came up with them the other day. It's like, are you a 42-year-old salmon fisher woman who hasn't caught any salmon in the Colorado River in the last 14 days? Like you're really targeting down that person down.
You're really niched down.
What it is, they're 42.
Is it?
Yep, they're 42. They're a woman. They're fishing for salmon in the Colorado River. That's a crazy example, but it gets you the idea of talk to the specific people that you want to.
That's so true. What are some of the other tools that you're finding that people really need a lot of help with?
The SEO stuff, I was digging in that a little bit today. The search engine optimization stuff. So, if you have a web page, getting that Google ranking, will help. But also the reputation management. So are you managing your reviews? If you have a Google business page, are you managing those reviews? Are you asking for the review? If you're a restaurant, put a QR code on your table. After an appointment, you can send an automatic email, but then following up on those reviews too. And then Google will build you up a little bit, and that will help. But then the search engine optimization it's a beast, and you can really pay a lot for some people to do that.
You sure can. And there are so many other tools available. Like one of the tools that I sell, as a matter of fact, is something that just drops a kernel onto your website, and most people don't know who's coming to the website. They have no idea who's there, right? They just come there, they take a look, and they don't buy anything, they don't call. And how do you know who was there? I can tell you exactly who was there, and I can tell you what their phone number is, what their address is, what their email address is, to a 99% accuracy. So, there are many, many tools out there that make the expensive solutions just another alternative.
Yeah.
So, there's plenty of things to do. I love the fact that you're using the callback feature, and a lot of people don't know how to use that or what that does and how that engages. But I left you a message a little while ago, and the first thing I saw was a text, and I'm like, oh, he got my message, right? And I'm like, oh, I could tell that it was a response, right?
Yeah.
But it made me feel like I was heard. And I think that's what you're saying, is that your customers or your prospects really want to
Yep.
know that they're being heard, right?
Yep, exactly. I've got some AI features in my Easy Biz Tech. And so Easy Business Technologies is really a platform partnership. So if you've heard of Go High Level, I don't know if you've heard of that or not.
I have
So,
indeed.
yep. So what they allow us to do is to white label their technologies, and then we can work with businesses under our own brand in that way. And so it's a really good, it's not just Ted creating software. It's, you've got a big workhorse behind you, but you can then go in and tweak it and then offer, and being the expert on it, you can share and help people with those things that they need. And so one of the AI features in there is that, so as an example, the other day I had somebody on the music page. I've got the music page and I've got the Easy Business Tech, but on the music page, they reached out and just said, hey, my daughter's getting married in a few weeks, and we want to have an engagement party. Are you able to play for that? And the AI just automatically kicked back and said, hey, that's great. Congratulations on your daughter getting married. And said, let me check my calendar and see if I'm available, and I'll get right back to you.
That is so custom, and that is so hot, because
Yep.
it figured out what the message was.
Yes.
Probably transcribed it, is my guess, and then was able to interpret. So,
Yep.
I just think that's brilliant.
So it made that instant connection. And here's the kicker on that. So unfortunately, I was not available, but the fellow was a lawyer, a local lawyer here. And so I just transitioned into, I said, we had a nice conversation back and forth. I tried to find him some other musicians in the area. And so at that point, if you think of he knows who I am, he likes me because we've communicated, and he trusted me. So the know, like, and trust. So then I asked him, I said, hey, by the way, I said, I have another business that helps small business with marketing and stuff like that. I said, do you have any interest in that? He's like, oh, totally. He goes, yeah.
All over it. And that's a bigger and longer
yeah.
term deal, isn't it?
But if you tried to target him cold call, you wouldn't have, hey, I'm Ted at Easy Biz Tech. Can I help you? He might have been, yeah, maybe another
for
sales
sure.
guy. But you made that connection. And for me, it just happened to be but it was an easy know, like, and trust. And so we're going to meet here in another week or two to kind of go over some things. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that, making money in the music industry is hard. And live performances are still, well attended. And do you ever sell your recordings, or do any of that, any product? Do you mix the business with the pleasure, and the pleasure with the business?
The funny thing is, I hate the technology side when it comes to the music side. So like when I'm setting up stuff, like I just want to get to that. Would that be the right brain? Is that I just want to get to the right brain where I'm sitting there and I'm just singing and watching and interacting with the audience. I'm dragging the equipment in, hooking up the electronics. I'm like, I could care less about the levels. You should. And I try to, but I just, the technical brain is done on that. So, but for me, what has helped is, if there's any musicians out there, I use a service called Gig Salad. And so comes in where it's know, like, and trust. They provide me with leads in the local area for different things, and I've found those to be pretty useful. And so it's like, because Gig Salad, if you look for hire Des Moines music person, boom, the Gig Salad comes up there pretty high, and then they go in there and then they just put a request in for something. And so another thing I've done is I've made sure that my pricing is a little bit higher. I don't typically tend to go to the bar scene where there's a little more cutthroat. A lot of those guys work 4 days a week, and bless their hearts for hitting it hard. And it's just not what I want to do. I like I've got an anniversary party coming up. I'm playing for an environmental group, like a gala or something like that. Played for the Future Farmers of America for Iowa and some of those things. And they want it just kind of a laid back setting where you can just provide a variety of music to people, but those types of events tend to pay a little bit higher, and so
they've got the budget for it.
Yeah, and not to and a couple tricks that I've learned too is they say, well, what do you charge? And usually the first thing I do is say, do you have, what is your budget for this? And then you can work with that, not to take advantage of them, but, if
No, of course
their
not.
budget happens to be 1,000, and I mean, I do have a minimum, but if their budget happens to be 1,000, then, you can work at that. Okay. And depending on
There's
the size.
all kinds of ways you can dial it too, right? So, instead of the 2 hours that you might have played or the 45-minute set, maybe you're only going to play a half-hour set.
Yes,
But,
exactly.
you have to weigh, the needs with somebody with your instincts and your business, your business sense as well.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. So, you offer a platform also, don't you? So is this a subscription based for your services?
Yeah, so there's a variety of things you can do with that. You can kind of mix and piecemeal each part of it out. Like there's just a Google reviews. You can just have that piece of it where you work on getting the Google reviews, and the AI and the Easy BizTech software will actually respond to those Google reviews as well too. If you put that all in there.
Sweet. So you
can do
set up your business and go about your business, but don't forget
Yeah.
to do all the other pieces that help you grow that business, right?
But, you've got to respond to those reviews. The missed call text back can be a separate piece, and there's websites, sales funnels. We get into email automation. It's just such being in business and being in technology and playing with software over all these years, I've never found a platform that's just included almost everything into it.
It's hard to believe, isn't it? I mean, I use another system called Kartra. But it doesn't have some of the same features that are in Go High Level. And the way Go High Level works, giving you the capacity in white labeling your product to be able to, to even take on other people's businesses and provide that service seamlessly as their back office, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The only piece it does integrate with QuickBooks, but it doesn't have like an accounting piece in it, which
darn. I mean, I would love to just say, hear my invoices and hear
it'll do invoices and automatic invoices, but as far as like the full on accounting, but they have a QuickBooks integration.
Run my P&L for me, right?
I
love that.
Always adding features, and it's just amazing the technology that they have in there.
I'm
always finding and playing with different things, and so I've got somebody that I just host their site only, and they just have a form, and then all the way up to a full shopping cart for a business, and we do SEO to help them with that. And so there's just it just depends on what your business needs are, and that's kind of where my passion has been there. I'm like, I want to help small businesses, but just from all the struggles that I remember having, like the marketing piece and how to find clients, and I just want to help them. And I'm learning, more and more as well too, but just being able to help them. But you do have to remember when you're choosing, your target clients, is you have to make sure that they have the ability to also make your dreams come true. Because if you're like, well, I have the passion to help small businesses. But if that small business is somebody that just goes to the farmer's market and maybe makes $50 by selling their bread and stuff, I have a passion to help them, but that's not going to help me reach my financial goals, just because they just don't have the funds to invest in that. So for me,
they also don't understand that you have to invest in yourself in order to grow your business. I don't believe, it takes money to make money, but it really, honestly, if you were a small business owner and you're listening to me right now, I'm telling you that your education and your process generally will take you anywhere between $40,000 and $80,000 in your first few years, because you're buying in and you're investing into your systems. Yes. You can't be afraid of that. And the best way to get a loan is keep that day job, because that's free money for you. That will help you finance what you're doing, right?
And health insurance.
Right. My goodness. All right. Well, let's make sure that people know how to find you and know where to get what they need to get done in order to get their business operational, be seen, be heard, and get paid.
Exactly.
Reach out to Ted. Ted, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. I really, really appreciate what you do. And I have a great appreciation for you as a musician and what you're doing to help small businesses. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for
All
having
right.
me.
That's going to be a wrap for us today. So I want to thank you all for joining us today, and join us again when we come back to you with some other great ideas on how to grow your business. Linda Kay, Money Talk. Do you like to talk about money? If you do and you'd like to be a guest, contact me at lindak360.com.